In this video, I want to show you how to make a gear like this using shapes like these. And we're going to put those all together using the rotate tool and also utilizing our pathfinder. So to get started, I want to get a couple of guides so that I can know true center of this, the base piece that we're going to be working from. So I am clicking on my ruler and simply dragging over a guide. And I'm going to do the same thing from the top. I just click and drag down and make sure that's on the center, up just a little. There we go. So my nodes are on the guides. That's just where I want them. For the cog portion of this, we're going to start out with a rectangle and place it to where it overlaps just a little bit, and we want that to line up with the guide. Let me zoom in a little bit so we can see the top of this. To make it look more like a cog, I'm selecting the top two anchor points and using my scale tool, and I can just slide that in a little bit. You're going to want to use your black arrow, your selection tool, to make sure that you have the whole cog selected. When you get your rotate tool, it's showing you where your point of origin is. It's right in the center of the cog piece, but we want it to rotate around the center of our base piece, this big circle. To relocate it, I'm holding my Alt key. I have my cursor right where it says center, and I'm going to click one time, and it has rotated to my last numeric value, which is 30. That's actually okay, and I want it to copy, not just turn. Very important that this value in the angle is something that divides evenly into 360. If it does not, then your last cog piece as you're going around will not line up properly. Also very important that you select copy. I want my original and I want to copy beside it. So that's what we have so far. Now I can duplicate that last step by shortcut keys Control and D, and it will just keep going around the circle. Now had I used something that didn't divide evenly into 360, this would be off. This last piece would be off, but it's perfectly spaced. I want all of this to be one piece. Move this out of the way a little bit, and I can just marquee this whole thing. See how it's over, and I have my pathfinder already out and available, and I want to unite this. So now we have that much of it. This, I'm going to change the color on this just so we can see it as we're putting it on there. We want to line that up just right under the cog. I see that I have a problem, and that is that my base piece and my cogs are above. I'm on this layer and my knockout circle is behind. I can actually reorder these just by dragging that up, and now it's on top. That's where I want it. Looking in my layers. So we have that piece. I'm going to just make sure that it's completely selected. I don't want the back piece selected. Rotate tool. Once again, hit that center with the Alt key pressed. It's going to match up perfectly because I had 30, the angle at 30 before, and I'm going to keep it at 30 and copy. Shortcut keys, Control D. And this time, we'll take all of this, go back to our Pathfinder and do minus front. Now we have something that looks a little more like a gear. One more thing, we need a centerpiece that's knocked out, and ellipse tool. Because we set up our guides, this makes it easy. At the center, I'm holding my Alt and my Shift to get a perfect circle and just dragging a new ellipse. Let me change the color on that. There you can see. And one more time, we'll do the minus front. And there we have a gear. Put a little different stroke on it so you can see it a little better. A nice gear. You could add more cogs if you put them like at an angle of 20 instead of 30. They would be closer together. These could be smaller and you could have them rotated even, twice as many of them. But that is how you get the gear like this. And just to show you some options, I also have one that I've put a 3D effect on, and that is very simple to do. Take the gear, go to Effect, 3D, Extrude and Bevel, and you can just take the default settings to see how to work. And there you go. You have a really cool gear that you can use, and customizing it with the different amount of cogs, the size of the circle. All of these things will give you many, many different choices. And we could do the same thing to this if we wanted to. 3D. Let's try a little different setting. We'll turn it a different direction. Make the depth, we'll make it a little less, 30. Click OK. With that different setting, it's kind of messed that up a little bit. Now, I don't like this, so if I wanted to change the 3D, I need to go back to Appearance, making sure this is selected. Go back to Appearance, and here I'll find 3D. If I went back up to Effect, trying to get to correct this, I would actually be putting a 3D on top of a 3D, and about the only thing that would happen with that is crashing my computer. So always go back to Appearance, open it here. Let's turn this back to, we'll turn it on Classic and see if that's any better. That's a little better. There you have it, gears. We'll look at the spirals next.